Hello, my name is Giselle and welcome to this video, where we will trace the fascinating evolution of educational ideas throughout hundreds and hundreds of years. Today, we will see from the Renaissance to the New School movement, exploring the main thinkers and their impact on education. We will also see how historical shifts shaped educational philosophies and how these ideas continue to resonate in today's education. So let's begin with the Renaissance. The Renaissance emphasized humanism with a focus on classical learning and the individual potential. Here we can mention Michel de Montaigne, who was a very important author in the Renaissance. With his essays, he championed a skeptical, introspective approach to education, emphasizing critical thinking and self-awareness. So Michel de Montaigne challenged the existing rigid systems. On the other hand, we can mention Martin Luther, who was another important author. His Reformation had a massive impact on education. His emphasis on universal literacy, so people could read the Bible, spurred the development of public education. Luther's ideas were revolutionary. He linked religion reforms to broader education access. So here with Martin Luther, we have a more religious focus. Now we move into modernity, which was a period marked by scientific advancements and shifting social structures. Here, someone important was John Locke, who in his Some Thoughts Concerning Education writing, he advocated for education based on experience and reasoning, rejecting innate ideas. He stressed the importance of a sound mind in a sound body. So John Locke believed that we construct our knowledge based on experience and of the time, but not because we were born with ideas. On the other hand, we have Comenius, who envisioned a universal system of education, advocating for teaching all things to all men. He stressed using natural methods and visual aids. So Comenius' ideas were foundational for modern pedagogy, with his focus on systematic, age-appropriate instruction. He believed the importance of the adaptation of instruction according to the age of the student. The Enlightenment, or also called Illustration period, brought a focus on reason, individual rights, and progress. Here we can mention Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who proposed in Emile a radical approach advocating for natural education and focus on the child's development and freedom. Rousseau saw society as corrupting and believed education should cultivate natural goodness.
Well, hello, I'm Nicole, and now I'm going to talk to you about the French Revolution and the positivism. The French Revolution brought a massive social upheaval and called for new forms of citizenship. Its emphasis on equality and civic virtue influenced educational reforms. Then, we can see the rise of positivism with thinkers like Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, and Alfred North Whitehead. Now, let's talk about socialism, in where the Industrial Revolution spawned new ideologies, including socialism. with thinkers like Karl Marx and Lenin. Marx and Lenin advocated for education that served the working class and promoted social equality, and they believed in education as a means of social transformation. Now let's go with the New School movement, with figures like John Dewey, Maria Montessori, and Edward Clapperday, who brought progressive reforms. Dewey, in Democracy and Education, emphasized learning by viewing the importance of education for democratic citizenship. On the other hand, Montessori developed a child-centered approach, focusing on sensory learning and independent exploration. Clapperday stressed the importance of understanding child psychology and adapting education to their needs. These thinkers built upon Rousseau's ideas but situated them in the modern world.
Okay, now I'm going to present to you a timeline in where we're going to mention the evolution of education. Our first stop is the 14th to 16th centuries, which is the era of the Renaissance. This period was a rebirth of classical learning and renewed focus on human potential. In here, education shifted from religious doctrines to embrace the arts, literature, and sciences. Thinkers and artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo embodied this spirit, and education started to become more accessible to a wider range of people. Now, moving into the 17th century, in here we enter the age of modernity. This era saw the rise of scientific reasoning and a more systematic approach to knowledge. The invention of the printing press continued to democratize information, and we began to see the development of a more formal and educational institutions and curricula. Now, the 17th and 18th centuries were dominated by the Enlightenment. This was a powerful intellectual and cultural movement that championed reason, individualism, and human rights. Thinkers like Locke and Rousseau argued that for education that fostered critical thinking and the development of responsible citizens. The idea of universal education began to take root, although its implementation was still a long way off. Now, the 19th century was a period of immense social and political upheaval. The French Revolution highlighted the importance of an educated citizen for a functioning republic. Simultaneously, positivism, with thinkers like Auguste Comte, emphasized scientific evidence and objective truth as the basis of knowledge. This led to a greater focus on scientific subjects in education and the development of structured national education systems. Also, in the 19th century, the rise of socialism brought attention to the inequalities in society, including access to education. This period also saw the emerge of the New School movement, with educators like Maria Montessori and John Dewey advocating for a child-centered learning, practical experience, and a more holistic approach to education that considered the individual needs for the student. And finally, we arrive into the 19th century, a period marked by unprecedented technological advancements and globalization. Education continued to expand, with increased access for more people and a growing emphasis in specialization and lifelong learning. The rise of psychology influenced teaching methods, and the digital revolution began to transform how we learn and access information. Okay, now I'm going to present to you a timeline in where we are going to mention the evolution of education. Our first stop is the 14th to 16th centuries, which is the era of the Renaissance. This period was a rebirth of classical learning and renewed focus. From the Renaissance to the New School movement, these thinkers didn't just shape education, they changed the way we understand human potential. So we hope with this video helps you to understand how interconnected history, philosophy, and education truly are.